This video is sponsored by Skillshare.
Have you heard Brick in Your Face? Who's it by? Stitches. It's this mental Miami rapper. Have you heard it? Yeah, it's a mental song. I smashed that brick in your...
We all know that age-old saying, snitches get stitches. And while some people live and die by that code, others would throw their brothers under the bus without hesitation and snitch in the name of self-preservation. To some principled gangsters that believe that snitching is truly the worst thing in the world, perhaps a snitches get stitches tattoo will do the trick. But for one young man from Miami named Phil, that wasn't nearly enough. So at the age of 17, in the name of hating snitches, Phil got this ghastly tattoo of a set of stitches around his mouth. And sure, I mean, if you think logically about it, getting stitches tattooed on his face would suggest that he has indeed snitched. But then again, do you really fancy making that argument to this enormous mountain of a nutcase? This teenage tearaway claimed to have fallen in love with cocaine aged 11, moved out of his mother's house into the South Beach of Miami by 14, and before he could even buy a beer legally, becoming a bona fide drug lord, renting Miami penthouses and exotic cars, truly living the lifestyle of El Chapo. If you really believe everything Stitches claims, then he was truly out here looking like a Miami high school rendition of Scarface. But we're not here to scrutinize Stitches' very questionable claims of being a drug lord in a past life. We're here to scrutinize his shambolic rap career. And once again, if Stitches' story is to be believed, then he truly wanted to blow up in the rap game more than anybody else who ever lived. He says that he got expelled from school for punching the principal in the face after he said he didn't believe in him as a rapper. And I'm gonna pretend to believe that. So as a teenage rapper going by the name Lil Phil, a young Stitches would release his first song, My Name Lil Phil. But don't get it mistaken, people, ain't nothing Lil. And legend has it that Lil Phil was going school to school and battling with any local rap kids that he could find, regardless of whether or not they wanted to. Now, unfortunately, as well as being completely shit at rapping, Lil Phil was also missing the key ingredient that we all know rappers need to pop off. No, I'm not talking about being actually good at rapping. I'm talking about a viral gimmick, baby. And so Stitches apparently got his iconic facial tattoos in September 2012 when he was around 17 years old. And this is also apparently around the same time that he'd had his first son, Rex. Hey, maybe his missus got double stitches, eh? Gross. Anyway, not long after getting his now famous Stitches tattoo, he deleted every trace of his previous Lil Phil rap persona from the internet and soon added an AK-47 to his portfolio of facial tattoos. Because, you know, AKs are rad and also quite hard to draw, that's why I don't have one. So, according to Stitches, he was truly slanging blow in the streets of Miami like a madman at this point. But apparently, he got set up by the cops after a dodgy coke deal gone wrong, resulting in him tragically losing all of his money and jewelry.
Basically, they actually robbed me. The cops robbed me, you know what I'm saying? And they took jewelry, they took money. I had $5,000 left to my name. I had Brick in Your Face. To put a video on top of World Star on the big screen was $5 grand.
Yep.
Believe it or not, me and him were actually talking, and you know, I said, tomorrow we're gonna be famous. And it actually happened. It was like I woke up, my phone was like, oh, I believe in you, all these hundreds of texts. And I started crying, and you know, it was a very emotional thing because I felt like God heard me.
And so, on April the 23rd, 2014, with his last $5,000, Stitches releases the song Brick in Your Face with a big debut on World Star Hip Hop. And from here, the rap game would never be the same. Before we dive into the next part of the vid, I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring it. Skillshare, that membership, we mean it. Ooh, online learning community, yeah, I know you need it. Ooh, all my creative people know it's the place to be. Communicate and get support from the community. Life comes at you fast, ayy, you gotta keep your skills sharp, ayy. Skillshare, how you do it, they got so many different classes. So try one for a while, see if it's a fit. Andy Pizza's one on finding your true style is legit. Sharpen up your own perspective and work out how you want to live. Communicate your vision, learn a skill and make it stick. Since I signed up, man, I've been so productive because Skillshare's better than sitting around just doing nothing. So get creative and get your wisdom jumping and join the community of hustlers who will stop at nothing to make their dreams happen. So click that link below and get premium membership to Skillshare for the low. The first 1,000 people who click get that trial for free, and after that it's $10 a month. That's reasonable to me. Click that link in description, get learning now. Thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this vid. Peace. Now, let me get on my Anthony Fantano for a moment and actually review Brick in Your Face. I mean, this track hits like a literal brick in your face. It's a hard crunk, trap, scream rap style banger that was incredibly refreshing at the time in 2014. And don't forget, this is long before the likes of 6ix9ine and City Morgue had introduced the world to the true potential of scream rap. But let's not forget, this is also a long 10 years after the likes of Lil Jon and David Banner, who were truly dominating the South, yelling about things like their 22-inch Cadillac rims or the sweat dripping down their bowels. And on top of that, the lyrics to Brick in Your Face are just incredibly catchy. I mean, think about it. I put that brick in your face. Now what are you gonna do with it? You better have that money when I come to collect. Pay up, pay up, pay up. How can you not like those lyrics? And how can you not forget those lyrics? But if that wasn't catchy enough for you, the goddamn refrain of this song is just Stitches screaming, I love selling blow! Shit makes me want to sell blow, baby. But if the song itself wasn't catchy and lit enough to carry on its own, thankfully it came along with a bizarre and high energy music video where Stitches shows us the whole process of being a drug kingpin. From first securing the bricks in a dope deal, transporting them back to the bando, in this case a grimy, low-rise looking block in the Pork and Beans projects of Miami, where Stitches shows off some serious sticks. Stitches of course does what any good drug trafficker will do, dances around with the bricks in his hands, before passing them over to the final step in any serious drug operation, the Nutter in the Hellraiser mask tearing the bricks open and throwing them everywhere. Now, it's my understanding that this isn't really cocaine, it's just flour before YouTube demonetizes this video, but that doesn't matter because it's all about energy, and Brick in Your Face has more energy than the Duracell bunny on crack. Crank even. And so it doesn't take nasty Nostradamus to predict that this thing blew up like crazy. Within days, the video had racked up millions of views, and hip-hop news sites like Complex were scrambling to find out more about this enigma. And for the longest of time, Stitches was simply referred to as an 18 or 19-year-old unsigned artist from Miami. And so very little was known about him, but I can't impress upon you just how viral Brick in Your Face was at the time. I mean, it was everywhere. People were calling Stitches the White Gucci Mane. Complex continued dropping articles about him, including one with the headline describing him as an 18-year-old unsigned Miami artist with an AK-47 tattooed on his face. A headline that seems to me like it might as well have been written by an algorithm designed to model the statistically most likely rapper to succeed in the game. I also would have accepted 16-year-old industry plant from Baton Rouge kills entire village. Anyway, Complex actually managed to catch up with Stitches, who was surprisingly forthcoming about some details, but then incredibly coy about others, failing to provide any additional background or verification of his drug dealer past, but also dropping interesting tidbits, like the fact that he was apparently just high as fuck when he came up with the whole idea of the Brick in Your Face music video. I mean, I could have guessed that, but okay. It was here that he told the world that the famous stitches that he had tattooed on his face are a metaphor for his infamous no-snitching philosophy, ironic for a complete clown who many think should have his mouth stitched shut. And of course, he celebrates the fact that only 5 days from uploading, his video has got 7 million views. I mean, Stitch's music was buzzing harder than somebody that had taken his cocaine. So in order to capitalize on this buzz, 2 days after Brick in Your Face dropped, Stitches released his debut mixtape, No Snitching Is My Statement. And I've just got to say, for somebody who is apparently a cocaine kingpin, clearly he didn't invest any of that drug money back into his cover art. Anywho, within a week, Stitches had gone from a complete nobody who you'd cross the street to avoid to the most sought after rapper in Miami, apparently getting VIP treatment in Live and Mansion nightclubs, and even attracting the attention and mentorship of fellow cocaine enthusiast Scott Storch. But after Brick in Your Face, Stitches was not done getting that bag, and he certainly wasn't content with being a one-hit wonder. So following the success of Brick in Your Face, he continued dropping music. In June, following up with the track I'm Just a Gangster with Compton Menace, another high-energy crunk shout rap anthem, but ultimately lacking the catchy quotables that Brick in Your Face had, leading to its viral success. But fortunately, Stitches returned on better form with his next track, Facts. Now, this song itself has a hilarious premise, with the whole track basically just being a call and response, with Stitches asking, do I get high on my own supply? And him answering, hell yeah, hell yeah. He was seen in the music video snorting blow off of his Rolls Royce, and he also used this track to seemingly out of nowhere diss Young Jeezy and call him a snitch for no reason, even ending the song in the music video with people holding RIP Jeezy banners and offering a 50k bounty for Jeezy's chain, with this stunt seeming to mirror the same chain snatching beef that Jeezy and Gucci had around 10 years before this. And hey, maybe this was Stitch's response to being called the White Gucci Mane. Anyway, it seemed like there was basically no provocation for this initial Jeezy diss, and so it's at this moment that we see Stitches entering the era of making desperate attempts to diss other rappers to try and keep the clout train going. And meanwhile, Stitches also got to making that big bag playing crazy lit shows. But things didn't necessarily go off with the best start, because Stitch's first show of his first tour was apparently a complete disaster, ultimately going down as one of the most shambolic rap shows in history. So this is the man who takes great pride in getting high on his own supply. So it's no surprise that he got in a little spot of trouble after offering the fans in his crowd to come up onto the stage and get high on his supply too.
Do you get high off your own supply? Do you get high off your own supply? I'm gonna pick one person to come on the stage and take a bump with me right now.
Now, at this point, the debauchery reached an embarrassing low, as a coked-out Stitches begun to turn on the crowd, threatening to knock out anybody who came on stage.
I'm gonna let everybody know right now, if you get on that stage with that fuck shit, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. And so we gonna have a good time, and so we gonna get knocked out. I got so much cocaine in my system, I don't know how I'm performing right now. I'm gonna have a heart attack. If I have a heart attack, are you guys gonna help me? Maybe if you just give me more blood, I'll wake up again.
Now, Stitches continued to make the most of the show, mainly by stage diving as he performed Brick in Your Face, before offering cocaine once again, this time to the females in the crowd.
Who wants to take a bump of my cocaine? I'm gonna pick 3 girls, alright?
Now, soon after that debacle, we saw the iconic walk-off, as Stitch's wife, who was apparently in the crowd, took issue to the coked-up thotties on stage and started shouting from the crowd that she was going to fuck up those girls, apparently reaching up and slapping Stitches on stage, a moment that was sadly not very well captured, but this was followed by Stitches immediately leaving the stage and following his girl, because you know what? Thugs have hearts too. The unfortunate side effect of this, of course, was that Stitch's fans were left out in the cold, missing out on the meet and greet they were promised, duly leaving their dope scales unsigned.
Hey, that's crazy, dog. All I wanted was a little signature on my scale, you know what I'm saying? Talk about a brick in your face, man. I just wanted a signature on the scale, homie.
But as if that wasn't enough of a tragedy already, in the biggest scandal of all, it turned out that that cocaine that Stitches was giving out on stage was fugazi after all, leaving the fans who shoveled it up their own noses duly disappointed, and as a result wanting to punch Stitches in his shit.
Throw the bags of cocaine, flour, and that got people excited. But what he didn't realize is that there's friends of security that watched him dump flour on security's head. So I went up to an unnamed security member and asked them, would you like me to punch Stitches in his shit?
In many ways, Stitches was the original 6ix9ine. Hideous face tats, minimal talent, willing to do anything and diss anyone just to get clout. And so, as we get into 2015, we begin to see Stitches drop even more shocking videos, and dropping more and more shade on other rappers in desperate attempts to get clout. In February 2015, he dropped the song Kilos in My Bag, where he seemed to actually go to the airport with kilos in his bag. I mean, it's one way to get yourself on the no-fly list. In fact, Stitch's Kilos in My Bag is one of the most spectacular displays of on-wax self-snitching since King Von's song I'm Killing an Op Right Now on 63rd at 10:03 on October the 13th, 2012, deluxe edition. And Kilos in My Bag was followed up by other self-snitching anthems, such as Sellin' Way Too Much Yayo, Mail, a song all about moving bricks of coke through the postal system, the track Damn Bilzerian, where Stitches finally reveals who it is that's been buying all of this blow, My Old Ways, where he says that if rapping don't work, he's going back to drug dealing. But the real comeback anthem for Stitches after Brick in Your Face was his track Molly Cyrus, a song all about Stitches popping a molly and wanting to fuck Miley Cyrus. She was really popular at the time. Molly Cyrus came with some very questionable lyrics about putting cocaine in girls' butts. Great way to get sinus infection, Stitches. In fact, the video ends very spectacularly with a Miley Cyrus actor giving birth to a fake baby on the sidewalk at the end. And it seemed like just trying to put the most ratchet things he could possibly think of in songs and videos worked magic for Stitches. This was the closest we would get to a sequel to Brick in Your Face, and Molly Cyrus is the second most popular Stitches song, today sitting at around 28 million views on YouTube. Only a few below Brick in Your Face, which currently has around 31 million. So it was clear to anyone at this point that Stitch's recipe for viral success lied in just doing the most ridiculous shit he could possibly think of on camera, all the while dragging famous people's names through the mud. Sound familiar? And so, using that very same strategy, Stitches takes aim at his next op, Tyga, who was actually attracting a lot of headlines at the time due to his ongoing and questionable romance with an underage Kylie Jenner. And so, hot off the release of his R. Kelly grade love track to Kylie called Stimulated, it's hard to even imagine the cringe getting any harder from Tyga on his own. But never fear, rap fans, because Stitches is the master of uncomfortable cringe. And so, at the height of Kylie Jenner and Tyga mania, Stitches links up with Ink Monster, another mother-disappointing tattoo fanatic, and releasing their joint track, Kyga, She's a Liar. And basically, over the course of this since-deleted video, both Ink Monster and Stitches delusionally claim to have slept with Kylie Jenner behind Tyga's back. But where is the evidence, you ask? Well, Ink has one picture with her, and a fake mocked-up IG DM response from her. Meanwhile, Stitches also claims on this song to have also rendezvoused with Kylie Jenner, providing zero evidence. Although he did tell In Touch magazine that he definitely did hook up with Kylie Jenner while she was with Tyga, apparently the result of them doing cocaine together, also adding that he beat the shit out of Tyga. Unfortunately, Kylie apparently never responded to Stitch's request for a follow-up date, and this is apparently the reason that he decided to air out their dirty laundry. But if this embarrassing clout grab wasn't enough to put the cringe on yo face hard enough, Stitches continued to goad Tyga on Instagram, desperately trying to make this beef a thing. Once again doing what he had failed to successfully do on Jeezy and putting out another bounty on Tyga's chain.
Hey, I got 10 racks on Tyga's chain, maybe even 50. Bring that shit to me, and I'm gonna give you some motherfucking cash. Bro, you know I fucked your bitch, bro. Don't act like I ain't fucked that hoe.
Good luck getting those chains before the Repo Man, Stitches. Anyway, Ink Monster went on to release further faked DMs, apparently showing Kylie reacting positively to the diss song, but both of these clowns have been widely discredited for faking this barely believable hoax, all for rap game clout. And hell, even Stitches eventually seemed to realise just how pathetic this was, as the whole Kyga diss was eventually deleted from YouTube. And for a brief moment, Stitches truly seemed to scrape the very bottom of the barrel at the end of 2015, when he began to tell fans that he had fought cancer and won, having hinted at health problems earlier in the year. Now, I can't prove or disprove that Stitches had cancer, and I don't want to disparage anybody that's had to go through that awful diagnosis, but it does seem like the kind of thing that Stitches might have made up at a time when he has admitted making up a bunch of things for clout. But then again, I do want to point out that there were some posts that he did make around this time that did seem genuinely heartfelt, so I don't want to put him in some kind of boy that cried cancer scenario, but I do think that this is an important part of the story. And at least to me, it seemed like all of this clout chasing was indeed for a reason, because everything was leading up to November the 24th, 2015, when Stitch finally released his debut studio album for drug dealers only. This had truly inspiring pieces of songwriting on it, like Dope in My Socks, Really Selling Dope, and Never Rob Me, but unfortunately it failed to land on any charts or attract any plaque certifications. But I just want to say, in its defense, it did have 2 Gavin Gates features on, and that don't count for nothing. But unfortunately, it also didn't get any mainstream press or reviews. In fact, the only proof that I could find that anyone even listened to this thing was a 1-star review on RateYourMusic.com, where the album has an average rating of 0.72 out of 5, this being one of the lowest on the site. Only for Drug Dealers is described as having some of the worst aspects of hip-hop, all in a single record with some verses not even rhyming, which is frankly generous. I mean, I listened to the album. Now, look, I don't want to say that I think the album is rushed or maybe failed its quality control, but I noticed at least one uncleared beat with the "Purchase your beats today" tag in the background. Anyway, the final call to action in that review of his album says simply, avoid, 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 avoid. This is really, really bad. Well, if only somebody had told the game that. So, hot off the back of his non-starter beef with Tyga, Stitches found another West Coast legend to try and beef and suck some clout from. Apparently, this beef was all the result of Stitches and the Game running into each other in a VIP section of a nightclub, where Game apparently refused to take a photograph with Stitches. Stitches fired this beef up publicly when he posted allegedly doctored DMs from the Game claiming that Game dissed Stitches first, which Stitches apparently immediately tried to escalate to a fight. Now, we know that both Stitches and Ink Monster previously faked DMs in a beef with Tyga, and so the Game essentially denied being involved in any of this in an IG video. A video where he also said that he would put hands on Stitches, essentially stoking the beef further.
Number 1, I ain't sent your fat ass no motherfucking DM. Number 2, any nigga name that rhyme with bitches, ain't nobody fucking with you, nigga. You lame, your music whack, nigga, and I will put hands on you, nigga. I ain't sent you no message, you a fucking fan, nigga.
In response to this, Stitches then dropped a Game diss track called Game Over, good title. This was followed by the Game briefly dissing Stitches in a freestyle session on Power 106.
Just wait till I catch up to that boy Stitches.
From here, Stitches continued mocking the Game and his kids on social media through October.
Man, this pussy ass nigga named The Game always wanna write on Instagram and Twitter that he gonna fuck niggas up. You ain't gonna fuck Young Thug up. You ain't gonna fuck me up, nigga. You ain't no boxer, bro. We saw when you fought 40 Glock. You can't even throw a punch, you pussy ass nigga.
And now, here's where the dollar store Tekashi 6ix9ine fell on his face. Because when 6ix9ine beats for clout, he makes sure that he is not actually within arm's reach of his ops. And in many ways, Stitch's only crime was being too damn real. Because in December, Stitches got the drop on his op The Game, pulling up to Story nightclub in Miami and spending the evening waiting outside ready to give the Game a fade. Posting all of this on Snapchat and at one point showing maximum disrespect by spitting on Game's G-Wagon.
So y'all see we out here in Story. Come see the pussy nigga The Game, let's see what he talking about. But let's be honest, I'm always in this club and now you wanna let me in because the day of the Game's here. This your whip, right, pussy nigga? This your whip. I'm out here, boy. I'm outside. You can come out here when you want, boy. Come get these hands. You said you're looking for me. This is my city, boy. They don't wanna let me in because the Game say don't let them. I'm right by your whip, pussy nigga. Where you at though, boy? You ain't still waiting for you to come outside so I can pop you in front of the motherfucking police and go to jail, nigga, cause I ain't scared of your pussy ass old jail, nigga. Look what I do since you don't want to come out, pussy nigga. Oof.
So after a whole evening of being denied entry by security and hocking loogies on Games Bends, the game emerges with his big old manager Wack 100, who duly turns brick in your face to fist in your face, knocking Stitches out cold on camera for the whole world to see. Now, I can't show you that clip because YouTube will demonetize this video for showing violence, but I can show you what happened immediately after. The game drove away, busting jokes on Stitches immediately.
Hey man, that man Stitches just got his whole mouth busted open in front of the motherfucking police, man.
Meanwhile, when Stitches came to, he told the crowd that there was a whole lot of gangster shit going on. Well, if by a whole lot of gangster shit you mean getting arrested by the cops at gunpoint for weed possession and resisting arrest, then yes, a whole lot of gangster shit was going on. Some said the cops were concerned that Stitches was about to do a drive-by, so both Stitches and Wack 100 were hauled off and slung into jail together, with Wack 100 later elaborating on punching Stitches, going on to say that he had even offered Stitches a fair fight in county jail, which Stitches declined.
Because when we got to the county jail, he didn't want it. Because the staff was going to let it happen. Because he didn't want it. I told him, I'm a convict. So once I got to the county jail, I'm now in convict mode.
Oh boy.
He didn't want it.
But to make matters worse, only a day after this altercation had gone down, Stitches was caught lacking on camera once again, receiving a beatdown from two of his supposed homies. A clip that I once again cannot show you due to it including violence, but Stitches immediately responded to the beatdown saying that it was indeed a setup.
I'm letting y'all know before it even comes out. Remember I told you got jumped? The video coming out now. Ain't shit to a G like me, cause it just showed me you can't trust nobody. But I promise you ain't nobody ever gonna catch me slipping again.
He also posted on Instagram along with a caption saying the guys who did it are irrelevant and no longer his homies. But after that footage leaked, the game continued mocking Stitches on Instagram, reposting the video of Stitches catching those hands, along with a caption clowning him, calling him a convalescent bingo champion, and saying that Stitches had his hands up like the zombies in Michael Jackson's Thriller video. Stitches responded, turning up again publicly, saying that he's not hiding his face.
Yeah, I got sucker punched the other day, ain't nobody hiding their face, and I got jumped by my own niggas yesterday. Nigga, all y'all pussy. This dog right here is harder than all y'all. He can do more damage than all y'all. Y'all pussy.
And soon after, the game responded by reenacting the knockout on stage.
Come on, bitch, you scared? I don't know where we came from with a game like this.
Stitches clapped back in more detail a few days after that with an interview on WorldStar, saying that he still wants a fair fight with the game and that Wack 100's suggestions that he'd offered him a fair fight in jail were false.
I got sucker punched and it is what it is.
Is it true that the game's manager tried to fight you when you was locked up? And you...
Come on, man. The nigga trying to make up lies, bro. Anytime you have an altercation and you get into an altercation with somebody and both of you go to jail, they will separate you. Ain't no CO's gonna let you fight because that's their job on the line. So first of all, that nigga need to stop lying.
Stitches also said that Game was the one who fronted up money to his former friends to beat him up on camera the day after the altercation.
People are saying that the people that jump you were your friends. Are the rumors true that Game set it up?
Of course, brother. Niggas just don't turn from one day to the next. A little petty money talks to petty ass niggas, whether it was 500, whether it was 10 racks, and niggas switch sides. I pulled up on my own niggas, wasn't expecting no shit to happen, and all of a sudden, an altercation came, dog, and I had niggas hitting me, dog. What the hell am I gonna do?
Stitches went on to hilariously car shame his former friends, who beat him up, roasting them heavy for driving a Mini Cooper.
Think about it. The niggas who jumped me driving a Mini Cooper, dog, talking about they saying that I wanted to rob them and all that shit. What the fuck I'm gonna rob a nigga who drives a Mini Cooper for? If I rob you, it's gonna be for a brick, 5, 10, 20. It ain't gonna be for your Mini Cooper.
And while there were whispers of a legitimate celebrity boxing match between Stitches and the Game, and it even briefly for a little while looked like the Game and Stitches had agreed to fight on the condition that Stitches beat one of Game's white friends in a fight first, eventually this story fizzled out and there was no more to report on the Stitches Game debacle. Though bizarrely, just at the start of 2016 for a brief moment, it was revealed that Wack 100 seemed to be managing Stitches as a client despite knocking him out cold on camera only a month before, with Wack 100 posting images of Stitches to Instagram with a caption saying, "I just got a call on some grown man shit. Stitches Stitches under new management. Of course, that relationship basically went nowhere, much like the supposed celebrity boxing match with the game. But for a brief moment, Stitches seemed like he had landed another boxing match, this time a complete no-name, with him briefly being set up to have a boxing match with ICP affiliate Supreme the Resurrector, seemingly trying to resurrect his career. They had a very pathetic and staged-looking scuffle at a pre-fight press conference, and I'm guessing that ultimately this was such an embarrassing affair that everyone involved decided that holding this fight would be an irresponsible creation of life-threatening levels of cringe. So once again, the fight never happened, with Supreme going on to explain that apparently after all of the beef, when him and Stitches bumped into each other backstage socially, they got on so well that they decided they might as well collab rather than fight.
And I was like, what's up, man? We fighting or what? Yeah. And he was like, I don't want to fight you, dude. He said, I don't want to fight. I like your music. We should do some music together. And he's like, this is stupid. I was like, he's like, I don't really have no beef with you. And I was like, well, I sure enough don't have no beef with you.
Anyway, after an abysmal 2015 filled with more L's than a scooter factory, Stitches would return to music and resurrect public interest in his persona with more shenanigans on social media. At the start of 2016, Stitches was continuing to catch attention online, but instead of just beefing with other rappers, he was using his Instagram to create shocking and wild content that would frequently go viral. This was really the fuck a job era of Stitches, not dissimilar to the kind of content that you might expect from the likes of Supreme Patty nowadays.
Bumblebee, wake the fuck up! Bumblebee! Wake up, I get cocaine! Fuck a job! Wait! 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 Fuck a job!
Me a motherfucking mirror to fucking sign. That's that coke table, motherfucker. Fuck a job! Fuck a job! Fuck a job! Fuck a job!
I'm starting to eat money lately.
Fuck a job! They asked me what I'm gonna look like when I'm an old man with all these tattoos. God damn it, I'm gonna still snort cocaine, sip lean, pop perks, and fuck hookers.
And while he was clearly racking up those social media numbers, Stitches was also securing a tidy bag, playing numerous lit-looking concerts. But his musical resurrection wasn't far behind either.
Hey, so look, I did a remix to Adele's Hello song, and I did a music video to it. Comment below and like this post if you want me to release that shit today.
Because in May 2016, Stitches drops a spectacular remix of Adele's Hello, except in this version, he's talking about selling cocaine. His remix was called 1 Million Dimes. It was hilarious, catchy, and genuinely quite good.
I must have sold 1 million dimes.
That track today is sitting at around 26 million views, not far off of the success of Brick in Yo Face, and being Stitch's third most popular song after Molly Cyrus. And it was this song that reminded fans just why they'd fallen in love with Stitches in the first place. His infectious energy, his ridiculous song concepts, and of course all of that tied together by a genuine passion for selling blow. So using this newfound energy, he continued into 2017, still building up his reputation as a viral goofster.
Listen up, I want all my fans to go to Taylor Swift's page and go listen to Stitch's new I Don't Want to Live Forever remix. And listen up, Taylor, I'm with you, baby. Next time I see Kanye West, I'm gonna knock them the fuck out for you. Yeah, I promise that. And after that, I'm gonna lick your ass. Yeah, you could come marry a ex-drug dealer, and we can have a drug dealing baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was also over this period that Stitches got heavily into lean and other drugs. You guessed it, cocaine, which eventually took a toll on his mental state, with the idea that he was essentially just out of control on drugs, explaining a lot of his erratic behavior through 2015, 16, and 17. In fact, it was really 2017 that Stitches seemed to reach his rock bottom, with one major and particularly embarrassing incident going down when he was first snitched on for taking a handicap spot outside of the Miami Whole Foods. When the police pulled up, he apparently handed them his joint, a situation which soon escalated when he apparently forgot that he had a gun under his seat. He was eventually booked for having a Glock, 46 bullets, a mason jar containing 39.2 grams of weed, and 1 loose oxycodone pill with no prescription. After he was hauled off to jail, he made a bizarre video, bigging up and forgiving the cops who had locked him up.
Man, being famous is a blessing and a curse in one. I remember wanting this shit so bad. Now some of these cops just want to fuck with me for no reason.
Shit happens. Learn from your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? God bless everybody. Even the cops that took me to jail. I love you.
Stitches fortunately managed to finesse his way out of any real trouble, ultimately only ending up with 25 hours of community service and being forced to attend a firearms safety class. I mean, just imagine going to a firearms safety class and they're using your music video as a don't example. But fortunately, Stitches kicked his drug habit by the end of 2017.
So it's almost 3 months that I'm sober already. And I just want to tell you, if you're watching this video right now and you want to go sober, you can do it as well. It's all in your head. Not telling you it's going to be easy. I did it. I went cold turkey from one day to the next. I went through withdrawals, depression, suicidal thoughts. So a lot of weird shit, you know what I'm saying? But I stopped doing all the drugs for my children. So ask yourself this question. If you got children, what's more important? You getting high and possibly overdosing or something going chemically wrong the day you take it and you die, or being around for your children and leading a good example for them and not leaving them fatherless? I choose my kids. But this message is to tell you that you can do it. Even if you don't have children, do it. Stay alive for your mom. Stay alive for your dad. You know what I'm saying? Just stay alive. We're breathing, we blessed. God bless you.
He also said that he looked back on times like the Kylie Jenner days and wishes that he could do things differently, blaming the drugs for his unhinged behavior.
I was on so many drugs that like I didn't even know what I was doing, and I don't believe in putting anybody down no more.
Right.
You know, because
Are
it's
you
not
sober
right.
now?
Sober. I was drinking a pint of lean a day. I was doing an 8-ball of cocaine, doing 10 Percocets, Xanax, fucking totaling Porsches. Like it was just, I was out of my mind. You know, I look at videos that I did when I was 18, 19, 20. And I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Right.
I'm like, why was I doing that?
In fact, the reason that Stitches was at this interview was actually to promote his new single, telling fans that he no longer does or sells cocaine and that he wants his music to be more positive from now on. And his new track, I Cry, was kind of in keeping with his 1 Million Dimes Adele remix, as well as his earlier track, I Try to Change, which was another kind of auto-tuned, sung, emotional gangster, I just want to change my ways type of song, reflecting on his bad past decisions and telling other tough guys, you know what, it's okay to shed a tear, and not just the kind of tear that you get tattooed on your face after you kill someone. The music video for I Cry is a much more heartfelt and frankly professionally put together narrative music video than near anything that Stitches had done to this point. And it's actually at this point that I feel things really started to turn around for Stitches, because from 2017 to now, despite a few turn-up, high-energy drug dealer anthems, on the whole, his music has been overwhelmingly positive, you know, despite dropping an album called Time for Murder. And his later catalogue is filled with much more positive songs that seem to have been really well received by his existing fan base. He's got tracks like When I Die, which discusses depression, and his turbulent relationships, which sits at 11 million views today. He's got the song Mama Proud in 2018, where he talks about having a daughter changing the way that he feels about women and him maturing into a better man. A heartfelt song which even had your boy Blackie Speaks saluting him in the comments for his maturity. And finally, he had the song I'm So Lost in 2019. Another heartfelt, emotional trap country ballad, which is low-key more touching to me than anything Lil Nas X ever made. I'm So Lost is essentially just a country trap song where Stitches is singing about a lot of real shit and the lyrics are low-key deep. And it came along with another high-quality music video where we see Stitches battling his demons and rapping his verses in some of the most high-budget and well-put-together sets that I've ever seen him perform in. It's actually such a genuinely good reinvention for Stitches. I mean, let's just take a step back and remember this is the same guy from Brick in Your Face that was screaming, I love selling blow 6 years ago. And today in 2020, Stitches still seems like he's on his sad boy shit. In fact, we even saw him shedding real tears on social media back in February 2020, crying about miscellaneous problems in his life without giving too much specific detail, essentially saying that he wishes he could just disappear and live on an island with his family and not be Stitches anymore. And he unfortunately did all of this whilst listening to a copyrighted Kevin Gates song, so I can't even play you a clip. But just know, people, if you're going through it, Stitches feels your pain too. I'm So Lost was his last big music video, today sitting at a pretty healthy 3.5 million views. His 2020 project, Married to the Bricks, is the most recent body of work we got from Stitches, and it's certainly a huge step up from 2015's For Drug Dealers Only. And it seems like despite all of the ups and downs and reinventions, Stitches still has a dedicated fan base of millions of people who will still show up and stream his new songs. His Instagram is still sat at 1.5 million followers, and although he hasn't posted much since March 22nd, Stitches is still hustling and getting that bag over on Cameo, where he's grinding and continuing to engage with those people whose life he impacted, sending personalized birthday messages, advice, or just roasting people for money. So if you really want to check in with Stitches, you're gonna have to go catch up with him on Cameo. So there you have it, the insane rise, fall, and ultimately revival level of Stitches, one of the most iconic rappers that the game ever saw. His reinvention was truly inspirational. I hope he's doing well wherever he is, and I don't know about you, but I for sure know that I'll be amongst one of those millions of people just waiting for that next Stitches drop. Thanks for watching, and peace out.